everybody. Welcome. Hi. Hey, everybody. Cinderin, Sunsfan here. TI4 Qualifiers for the Americas, presented by Monster. I hate talking because I prefer to do pick ban. As you know, it's my favorite part of the game.
We do that without talking?
No, I kind of like to talk.
Okay, so you hate talking about everything else in life than picks and bans.
I'm more yeah, that's true. It makes me more excited.
I'm probably not even in the camera shot. Hey!
Oh, there you are. Yeah, you can look on here. So we have eHug versus CNB, which is actually a really important match for 4th place. I'm not exactly sure the rest of the standings right now, but let's just assume whoever loses is probably out of the race for 4th. So pretty important match overall. And we're going to see Jiggle Billy. That's all that really matters.
You're such a fanboy. Let's jump into it.
All right, let's jump in, friends.
So, yes. You're watching BTS2, of course. If you're interested in watching a lot more of the coverage of the tournament, you can go to beyondthesummit.tv or TI4Qualifiers.com. Those are two really useful pages to find all the games that are going on, who are casting them. Both EU and NA hubs are there. Check that out and make sure, follow all the action. There's a lot of games going on. So, we are going to see eHug playing on Team Radiant, and wow, they first picked the Treant Protector. Who would have thought?
You love that pick.
Mirana's banned.
That's
rejoice, rejoice. Mirana's banned. So Sand King, Mirana, Bat Rider, and Lycan banned out. eHug gets Treant first, and like you said, this game is actually pretty important because the way the standings look right now, unless some really big upsets happen, we have Liquid and North American Rejects for top 2. We have SNA for 3rd. And then 4th place, eHug is one of the contenders. I'm not completely sure if CNB actually has the chance as well. I think they might. And we could also see some 2, 3, maybe even 4-way tie for 4th place, which of course is really important because that's the last slot that gets us to the playoff. 5th and below, you're out.
Right. So we'll see how. Again, there've been so many games. We're kind of struggling to keep up with the actual standings, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually. And of course, you guys can go to TI4Qualifiers.com to find all that stuff out, since we're apparently too lazy to do so, as Cinderin is probably doing that right now. Darkseer, Keeper of the Light are picked for CNB. The Sand King ban we saw at the beginning of the tournament, and people have been struggling with it, and then it stopped being played and banned, and then we're seeing it again banned first phase. So. It's just like people just change their mind overnight about heroes, it seems. And Keeper of the Light's in every game now.
Yeah, I think the main thing about Sand King that there seemed to be pretty broad agreement on was that it wasn't the hero not being good enough, it was just misplayed. The teams were not performing well enough with it. This hero is still absolutely amazing, and in some games, I guess you ban it. I think eHug might be worried about CNB, in particular their Sand King, or maybe they lost the previous game only to a Sand King who just completely destroyed them, or something like that. There could be many factors coming in. But they're actually going to pick the Nyx Assassin as a 2nd pick, which is very rare nowadays. But when you're playing against Keeper of the Light, it is a classic counter to have the Spike Carapace against the Illuminate. You don't take the damage. Keeper takes the full damage himself, or, reduce.
You've seen that clip of... Actually, we just released it.
I didn't see that clip, but I can imagine what it is.
Illuminate with 5 blade mails.
Yeah.
Instigate.
I can imagine that.
Similar functionality for Nyx. Of course, he doesn't take the damage, though.
Actually, surprisingly good against Darkseer, too, and there's a couple of reasons for that. So, Mana Burn, of course, is mainly good against Intelligence heroes in terms of dealing raw damage. Both Keeper of the Light and Darkseer are Intels and get very high Intel gain, actually, on Darkseer. I think he has one of the highest Intel gains in the game. I could be wrong, but I think he has pretty high.
Well, he'd have to. Well, and his strengthening is pretty good, too.
So Mana Burn is a really useful skill. The other thing is, Darkseer is one of the heroes who's really kind of a I want to call it like a double-barrel shotgun, if that makes sense. You alright, that doesn't make sense.
Darkseer?
No.
It's a double-barrel shotgun?
No, that was terrible. Let me try to explain it another way. Okay, so Darkseer is... okay, what I mean is, in terms of team fighting, Darkseer, he isn't a double-barreled shotgun, but he has like 2 shots right after each other. He vacuums and walls, or the other way around.
Okay, so he's a wombo combo maker.
Do you want to call it that?
Yeah, it's better than... Okay,
he's like a 2-shot rocket.
It's just getting worse. Like
okay,
the double-barrel shotgun, I feel like that's reserved for Morphling.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he's a 1-barrel shotgun. He just shoots you. Whatever. Wait, we're trying to transition from this.
These analogies just disgust me on a whole new level.
My point was, Darkseer wants to put up the wall and then use vacuum, or the other way around, and Carapace is one of the great abilities for breaking combos like that, where you would do a 2-step A two-step play and you get broken in one. Another example of a good counter to Darkseer because of that is Silencer with the last word, where you vacuum, then you can't wall, or the other way around. So your combo just falls apart. So these might be the two reasons they picked up the Nyx Assassin. CNB are going to ban Enchantress and Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend has been really successful so far in this tournament. I think he's got a really high win rate. And Naga Morphling taken out from eHug. I'm not sure exactly why they were that worried about the Morphling, because Nyx, again, the Spike Carapace is kind of the same purpose against the Shotgun Morphling. You break one of them.
Well, how do you feel about Darkseer versus Nyx if this ends up being the case offlane versus offlane? Obviously, the mana burn for Darkseer, but he's probably going to end up getting a Soul Ring anyway. So does that even matter? Actually, they're going to pick up Wisp, so... Ooh. So they're going to have Recall and Relocate. And who was it that picked up Wisp? It was the PA game.
Yeah,
that was Liquid, right?
No, that was
wasn't it Liquid?
No, the IO Coddle game was North American Rejects with snaking on PA.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm hoping we see Tiny. I think Tiny's fine here.
Yeah, it's a good Tiny game so far. There's actually a couple of reasons why it's good.
Is there any chance that eHug just wants to deny them the pick and just pick Tiny themselves? Doesn't really fit into their lineup per se. They're going to go for Witch Doctor.
Doesn't look like it. Yeah.
Is can't not like Witch Doctor, I guess. The cask is, in theory, okay with the tether when you relocate in, but the length on that is so large, the tether that is, it's not the most consistent thing ever.
The interesting thing for me about this game is, this is something I was talking about in the lounge downstairs, is that for this qualifier so far, the only team that's really been impressing me as far as drafting goes has been North American Rejects, who seem to be really good at counterpicking and setting up a lineup based on what the opponent gets and aren't afraid to pick outside the box. What I like about this game is that it's kind of a little bit towards that, where you see eHug counterpicking the Coddle and Darkseer with the Nyx. We then see the IO picked up, and the response is, like you say, Cask might not be the best, but it is actually not too bad against the tether combo where you run in close. And then we have the Witch Doctor Treant synergy, which we've seen a lot, where Overgrowth into Death Ward is very, very powerful. And especially because teamfights with Treant often happen around towers or around trees. And since Witch Doctor's Death Ward has got that higher cast range, it's quite frequent that you can cast it from the fog and no one even realizes where you are until it's too late.
Yeah, that's true.
Mag is now going to be the pickup for CNB, so I'm wondering here if this is just flat out overkill for them. They have like a great teamfight combo, but they have like no real reliable single target initiation. Well. So Tiny, that's the last thing. Tiny would have been great. Like you said, a good game, great with IO in general, but Avalanche is really good against living armor. It just shreds it
How's
off.
Magnus's intel gain? I can't remember. Like if mana burn was applied to him.
Is
it not even?
I think it's pretty average. I could be wrong on that, but...
Well, either way, for eHug, Treant Protector and Witch Doctor, although we've been sick and tired of seeing Treant Protector, we're just assuming that Nyx is in the offlane here. Treant and Witch Doctor, they're a nice kind of combination of aggression with the ability to turtle. Not turtle, but, well, I guess in Treant Protector's case, you could say he's a turtle here, but in like an actual tri-lane. You can play it passively, you have a lot of survivability with 2 heals, meaning the leech, actually 3 heals technically, Leech Seed, Living Armor, and then Voodoo Restoration. And then you have the aggression of Leech Seed and Cask. And here comes the Tinker. I think, what was it, Fear that was saying that he really wanted to see a Tinker?
Fear is a huge fan of Tinker and of Pudge. Those are like the only 2 heroes he plays right now. But he says Tinker to him is underrated as hell. He's like, this is one of the most broken heroes in the game. And I will agree with that notion when a couple of things are taking place in the game. The first thing is you aren't hard countered, because Tinker is one of those heroes you can actually really counterpick. And secondly, you get some good farm in the beginning. Because after that, Tinker just snowballs and is an excellent point guard, excellent aggressor, excellent carry. The thing is, if you're playing against something like... I don't feel like IO is a good counter to Tinker, because when you see them relocating and you just blink somewhere else, and you're out. Heroes like Storm Spirit, heroes like Clockwork that just come out of nowhere and you don't react fast enough, you just get caught, you're dead. But this isn't the case in this draft so far, and I feel like if you're CNB right now, get the Tiny... Okay. Let's think about this for a moment. So, mid-late game Tiny with Overcharge, Empower, and good farm, and a Keeper of the Light to port them around if he gets an Ags.
Yeah.
This CNB lineup is absolutely insane late game. But Tinker is one of the heroes who can actually deal with that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, obviously with Rearm and Boots of Travel, once you get that. But yeah, the 2 teleportations is pretty dirty with the Tiny. Once Tiny has, like you're right, Empower and his Cleave from Aghanim Scepter, they can start pushing a lane, and if eHug commits to trying to stop them, Keeper Light recalls one of them, or something like that.
Yeah.
Some combination that allows them to be on other sides of the map on a moment's notice. So Wraithking's going to be the final pick for Team eHug. Looks like that's going to be aggressive tri-lane with the Witch Doctor and Tree Ant Protector. So that's a pretty good tri lane. I mean, you're going up against a... I think it... Do you really think it's going to be an actual tri lane for CNB? Keeper, EO, Tiny?
They could play IO Tiny mid here, I think. There isn't really any big threat that I'm seeing coming out from eHug for that mid lane for them. Perhaps it's going to be a little tricky if they play against, let's say, Witch Doctor Tinker. Double range against Tiny IO is actually pretty damn good at harassing them and keeping them out of the lane. If they're worried about that and they just want to secure the Tiny, play it safe lane with the IO. And Coddle can jungle. That's actually one of the things we've been seeing quite a lot. Coddle starts stacking the jungle, farming it alone. They're self-sufficient in the jungle. They don't really need any help.
Oh, they fixed the... is that fixed? Yeah, they fixed the ice armor on Tiny, it looks like.
Oh, that's cool.
He's
Elemental
got a black
Ice
eye.
Infusion.
It's very rare, but everybody has. That's the thing I've noticed. Anywho,
Okay.
let's go over the actual team members playing the heroes and all that good stuff, because this is Dota 2 after all. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to find each other. Typically, you see them going to the bottom jungle to meet up one way or another, but not going to be the case. So I'll go over eHug. Justin on the Tinker mid. We have Cakes on his patented off lane. Not sure if Nyx can be considered patented for him, but off lane nonetheless. Jigglebilly on his Wraith King. Unfortunately, not a Pudge. I'm going to have to talk to him about this once this tournament's over. Very disappointed with him. I'm a Sheep playing the Witch Doctor, and last but not least, to finish out the tri-line, Pandago on Tree Ant Protector. We've seen him quite a bit on Pandago, the Tree Ant Protector.
And for CNB bottom up, we've got... I was about to say... Oh, his nickname is actually Brazil.
Okay.
We've got Brazil playing as the Darks here. In the mid lane, it's going to be King RD on the Magnus. Keeper of the Light will be played by Baga, together with Ned on the IO. And then finally, we've got 4DR/Unpause playing as the Tiny. So, one thing I want to point out is that I'm starting to see a pattern with Jigglebilly, and I'm starting to see why he's your favorite player, because you guys have the same hero pool. Strength, go in,
No, he picks
hit
Mirana
stuff.
a lot.
Heroes.
Yeah, when he picks Mirana, I'm like, meh, whatever. So
Yeah.
any other
In that
time,
game,
yeah.
you're not a Jigglebilly fan.
Yeah, pretty
unless
much,
you are.
pretty much. Wait, who did he play last time that I was begging for Pudge? It
Uh,
was Huskar, wasn't it?
Huskar, probably, yeah.
Right.
He plays these kind of
That
Rambo
didn't go
heroes.
that didn't go over too
Okay,
well.
this bottom lane is going to be really hard. Doxer's going to be first blooded right now. I think Leech Seed is going to come in. Oh, they stacked
didn't
their
layer
stun,
it
actually.
At all, but Cask is still there.
Yeah,
This is a kill.
who cares? Easy
Sloppy,
kill.
but it's effective anyway.
If you're Doxer now, you go jungle, I think. So this is where it's really important whether you're Radiant or Dire, and this is why Doxer is actually a good Dire offlaner, because there's going to be some games where the enemy trial lane is just so damn good that you can't really get an experience range. This is one of those games for me, and I think Doxer is making a mistake here if he doesn't just straight up go jungle. He can get some experience and some gold there. If he goes down on this lane again, he might just, if he gets caught again, it's detrimental, and it would have been better for him to be AFK than going down here and dying again. So,
But if they do that, eHug needs to rotate their supports as well. That's an important thing to note. I mean, you could disrupt Darkseer pretty easily in the jungle, so that leaves them susceptible. But of course, you have to actually make the rotations. Looks like Cakes is going to find himself some... He actually bought a TP on the side shop, so good for you, buddy. That's an early TP. I like that. Mid lane, though, we're going to be focusing on this. Justin right now, very early on, of course. 7-2 versus the 9-0 Magnus. We haven't seen Magnus mid a whole lot. I think last time I've seen him was played by S4, like one time. It used to be a hero that was picked up quite a bit, but fallen out of favor, despite having the buff in 6.81, which I think the skewer limit has been
removed
completely. I think that was the only change, if I'm not mistaken.
He also got a buff in the version before that, which improved his turn rate, which is a bigger buff in my opinion, because it makes it a lot easier to land the skewer. Oh, here we go. Cakes, yeah, well. This is just too easy for this Nyx to survive against this. This support duo, Io and Keeper of the Light, are absolutely terrible together at making kills. You need the carry on the lane to be involved, and that's why Nyx, a combination of that and being Radiant, he should be able to outlevel the Darkseer, who did manage to pick up level 2 actually in the bottom, so at the very least does have Surge now. I still don't think he's safe with Surge. He can still get killed by this tri lane, but Trend is rotating, so maybe in this case Brazil is actually making the right call by going bot lane. He's just, okay, Witch Doctor's hitting me, I'm going to just stand here.
Well,
and now he's
they just dewarded his ward, which is why he was confident to begin with, but now that that's gone, let's see, he is level 2 now, so has a little bit of escapability, but of course, I think he does know that Treant's not there anymore, so... Of course, you can never know exactly where he is, considering the living armor is global, but regardless, he shouldn't die to just these two, I don't believe. Especially when the lane's pushed up now. Actually, do you think they could kill? I don't think they could kill him with just Wraith King and Witch Doctor. Although they did get level 1 Maledict. You know how strong that is.
With level 2 Maledict they can, I think. But until then it's going to be too difficult. And I'm not sure he's going to scale
in that case,
like
do you get level 2 Maledict before you get 2 in Cask?
Yeah. If they want to play it like that, if they want to try to kill him with this dual lane, you skill Maledict now. Because the synergy between those heroes is actually really strong. You start with the Cask, you get the Maledict on the Darkseer, and you just start hitting him. The moment he surges, you Wraithfire Blast. That's a 2-second stun, Surge expires, Maledict is still in full function, and then you just go and kill him off. So definitely a dual lane that can kill Darkseer, and he's actually exposing himself pretty hard right now. But I don't think they see him. They don't have vision right now in this area. So Brazil, if they knew that, I think they would have gone and killed him. So good for him that there isn't any vision there for Team eHug.
Wraith King has the recipe for Hand of Midas already in his inventory, so just needs the Hand of Midas, or yeah, he needs the Hand of Midas as well, but the boots, Jesus, the gloves of haste, my goodness.
Wow, can you imagine boots of Midas? How broken that would be? That would be
legit. Instead of attack speed, it gives you movement
100 movement speed. Here we go, bottom lane. Let's see if they do it exactly like that. Actually, they will be throwing the stun already, so now he can surge, but I think the damage has already been done, yeah. This is very, very easy for them. Nice kill. Witch Doctor will get that with the Maledict.
Booyah!
He's about to pop.
Witch Doctor so underrated, man. Although he is picked relatively. Nah, I wouldn't call it a common pick.
Hey, competitive scene, you're welcome for Captain's Draft.
You know what? People think that we overplay that a bit, but I don't. I don't at all. Leech Sheath applied to the Keeper of the Light, but of course there's Wisp with his beautiful tether. I guess they both have good heroes for helping each other escape, I suppose. Living Armor for Radiant, and the Tethering Wisp for the Dire. We see Hand of Midas completed officially with the boots of Midas, I should say, on the Wraith King. About to hit level 6. And again, we talked about this time and time again with the Wraith he's played. Really like the utility initiation type. And of course, no matter what you go, you can always transition into like a semi-carry at some point. But of course, he is playing the one position, so the question is, how aggressive do they want to be with him? Like, do they want to actually farm up legitimate like DPS items? Like, I would consider like an Assault Cuirass a DPS item for him in particular. Or do you go more initiation, like Blade Mail, Blink, something like that?
I think if they have plans for late game, he needs to be a carry. Of course, Tinker is great, but you're playing up against Magnus, Tiny, late game. So until that point, I feel like there's 2 stages of this game for eHug, where in the first one, if Tinker gets a good start, then Wraith King could be like a frontliner. He gets Blade Mail, he gets Blink, like you said, and just sets up the fight because he doesn't need to do damage yet. And then if they get to a very late game position, he will need to play as a real damage dealer. But the really good thing here for eHug that's happening is not just, they didn't just win their bottom lane and get 2 kills, but there's been done absolutely nothing about this until now. That actually, for some reason, didn't stack, I believe, but it's so huge when you're playing Tinker on Radiant and you just get to freely stack this. He's going to have Boots of Travel in 2 minutes right now if he gets to... Yeah, his bottle is getting refilled. Yeah, the Ancients are going to be very accessible here for Justin. He's got level 7, so level 4 March. And then they can just start putting pressure around the map, I feel. There's some good synergy there between Wraith King and Tinker, where Wraith King can force a fight to happen, and then if the fight happens under March, you're really, really strong. Nyx is probably also not getting level 6 too late in this game.
Interesting ward we're going to have down here. It's assuming he's going to be using this to skewer an RP. I think he might... Actually, I think he could kill Tinker himself. He doesn't really need help, technically speaking. He does have the vision now, so that's... But he's going to have to go into March consistently. And like you said, Justin's relatively close to finishing the Boots of Travel, which is pretty damn... What would you consider like really early? Is this like...
really early for mid lane?
Yeah. For a Tinker.
7 minutes is really early.
So he's basically
almost
at
has
that
them.
point.
But the thing is, he doesn't have the Soul Ring, which you often get with it too. But so if you get Soul Ring, Bottle, and then BOT, then anything under 10 minutes is early. Anything under 9 is really early. So but since he skipped the Soul Ring part of it, he could get it right now if he went and farmed the stack and got a little bit of help perhaps. But since he doesn't have the Soul Ring, he can't rearm that many times. But this is still going to be a great timing. It's going to be sub 10 for sure, unless he gets ganked like twice right now.
I think they're trying to set something up. We're going to have a TP top. Tiny and Wisp going to town on Cakes, and unfortunately the Witch Doctor was not there in time. Actually, he better be careful because Tiny, his cooldowns... Nope. Doesn't look like they're actually going to pursue. They could still dive him, honestly. Yeah, his cooldowns are off there. Tether.
Yeah, if they toss in the Wisp.
Yeah, they're gonna go. I don't see why not. TP was already used. It's just gonna be a higher
or
cooldown.
Avalanche.
Okay,
oh, good cast.
Oh, he tossed a creep though. Would have been enough if Wisp was the one being tossed. Cakes in the meantime did respawn. Impale is gonna completely miss through the uprights. No mana on Tiny. but they're fine with that, despite not getting the kill. Just a little bit of a misplay on the toss. As long as they get after their life, I guess they're happy with that.
And here come the boots of travel. 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Going to be the rough time he receives them. So pretty damn good timing here for Justin. And Wraith King is just being left alone. I think that's kind of the bigger deal for CNB right now. Nyx is still putting some pressure on the top lane, but I feel like the Dogs are actually in mid together with Mag. They've got double Ion Shell. Very nicely played here. Jigglebilly's going to TP into this.
Jigglebilly! He's going to have another Wraithfire Blast in about 4 seconds. I don't actually, Skewer is up. He gets Surge, but Laser is going to finish him off. Wraithfire Blast still there. Is going to be used to take out Brazil.
There's just nothing like a skewering corpse. I just love it. It looks so good. It's just surfing to his death. He falls into the river and just dies. Oh, wait, the Courier's AFK in mid. Oh, okay, they realized.
I'm surprised they didn't use Skewer a little bit earlier, because
I think
the range on that was increased at level 1. I do believe, or the earlier levels. What level is it right now? So it's level 3.
That's a while ago.
It might be the same. What? 6.81 they changed that, didn't they?
Did they? It used to be 600, 800, 1000, 1200, but was this in the last version? It could be. Then it got 2 buffs.
They all meld together for me.
Yeah, it's a little hard to keep track of that, but you're right. It's better than it used to be when Magnus was still really popular.
Right,
so he's been buffed on that. Well, what are we looking at right now? 4-2, 500 gold, 10,000 experience. Wow, 1,000 XP for the Radiant. So pretty much dead even in terms of the graphs. So we're looking at a game that could go fairly late, or where the mid game is looking like it could be even. My main question for CNB is still, how do you deal with the Tinker? To me, it's either he gets caught out by an RP out of nowhere, or he doesn't notice the relocate. It's like an awesome Tinker game, because there's no long-range initiation to catch him out, and they didn't do anything to counter him in the lane.
Yeah, he's level 10.5. Of course, has the Boots of Travel and the Soul Ring. And of course, this was just countered, this ward here, so the Ancients will now... Okay, didn't stack there, but...
that was close.
That was a little bit maybe a second late on that one. Magnus, RP's not up for another 20 seconds. Don't believe he can find a kill without a little bit of help. And Darkseer has transitioned from the jungle back to the bottom lane, knowing that the supports are roaming around for eHug. And that leaves Coddle. He was level... Okay, he's still really low level. Not quite level 4 as of yet, but trying to stack. And this is one of the benefits of having a keeper. You can farm up relatively easily if left alone in the jungle, if nothing else. I mean, you could continue to give yourself mana, illuminate the crap out of those creeps, stack them to your heart's content. Magnus is invisible, so he's going to find... Oh, Pandago. Oh, if he actually goes for Pandago, this would be a kill.
This is an easy kill.
Okay, they're just blocking each other. And I think, who's pinging that out?
Alright, he's going to kill him now. Oh,
nope,
okay.
TPs.
Wait, what?
This is so
RP,
weird.
Skewer.
Okay. Does he want it? Does he even want to kill Tree? Okay, here we go.
Okay.
There's the RP.
Bigger play.
Oh, Wisp is coming. This is an easy kill if they can get off the actual combination. But they don't! There's the cask being used! Oh my god, Tinker did fall, but a lot had to be used for CNB. They're going to lose 1, if not more. Death Ward being used. Doing a decent amount of damage. Didn't have any stuns to counteract this, though. Cakes.
Oh, Blink Dagger.
Tail. Beautiful stun. That is a dead Darkseer. Looks like one will get out. They did a lot to counteract that eHug did. They did a very good job of counteracting overall. And keep it light. This is the problem with jungle. You're not going to have a whole lot. He did have a TP, but of course that was in the enemy jungle.
I think that gank from CNB actually made a lot of sense. They just missed the timing on it, to be honest. I think Tinker got 1 or 2 spells off before he died, which is crucial. And of course they exposed themselves way longer than they needed to. So a little bit missed timing from them there, but also good response from eHug to TP in like that. Now my main thing for CNB right now is that Coddle is level 4 at 12 minutes, and he hasn't really done anything. I'm shocked he doesn't have more farm than this. I don't know what he's been... It might sound a little blunt, but what has he been doing?
I've been seeing him stack and being in the jungle the whole time, which is
well, then
why I don't
you would definitely be level 6 by now.
That's what. Yeah, that's
at
why
least 7 maybe.
Right.
And Nyx Assassin, I mean, it's all right to sacrifice yourself if Nyx doesn't get anything, but he's level 7 in that offlane with 2 assists, so I guess he got something somewhere. But this Coddle is just not paying off at all right now for CNB, so he really needs to find his way and get some farm now.
Yeah, I mean, the Wisp is level 7, so right now the Coddle is playing the 5 role as Jigglebilly picks up a haste, skewering onto the cliff. Not going to have vision. He's actually thinking that he might be on towards the ancient side, but you are incorrect, Jigglebilly.
That would have been that would have been awesome if he skewered up Jigglebilly with him to the cliff. Got killed there, but
yeah, that would have been good.
Okay.
He's going to blink out. So blink is picked up by Jigglebilly. So looking for more initiations here. Justin, continuing to farm away, has 1900. What do you go for first? Blink? Is that what he's aiming for?
Yeah, he should be. It's pretty much core nowadays on Tinker. There used to be a time when people would get 4-staff, but since people realized how good it is that you can blink into tree lines and just be invisible, even pour into the proximity of enemies and just get yourself in a good position, it's an absolute amazing ability to have. And also, you can rearm Blink while you're taking damage.
Right.
So you can... That 3-second cooldown that Blink actually has when you take damage, you can rearm that away and then you can get out of trouble. So there's a lot of plays Tinker can make with that item. He's level 11, by the way. Almost 12. That's insane, really, considering he's got 1 kill and 2 assists. Getting about a level per minute this far into the game is really sick. And he gets another triple stack on these Ancients. Sure, Tiny's getting farmed, but he has got a lot of weight to carry. Let's, again, not forget, Keeper of the Light. To me, he's a good mid-late game support. To me, he's a good mid-late game support, actually, but he needs farm to be that, and he just doesn't have it yet. So, yeah. Leaves a bit to be desired here. Treant, however, is also level 4 for eHug, so... It's like really low-level supports.
Yeah, actually, I want to look at the levels overall here. That's not the right button, Syndra. There we go. So, top 2 heroes for eHug. That's true. So they're out-leveling big time. Keeper of the Light. He's actually the same level as Treant. That is surprising in itself that Treant doesn't have more levels. I feel like he's been fine overall. Like, what's his... He's only died 1 time. What's he been doing? that's the other question. Yeah. So I guess at the end of the day, the Coddle being level 5 maybe not the worst thing in the world. Although I feel like overall, it's more important to get levels on a Coddle than the Tree. I mean, once you have level 6 on Tree, you start taper. I wouldn't say you taper off, but compared to a Coddle, you do.
It kind of depends on the game. I would say in this game, levels on Treant are actually not that useful anymore, because Darkseer's Iron Shell and Avalanche will just remove living armor. So it's about getting the ult and about putting pressure early on, which he hasn't done. Kind of missed his timing. He got the first blood, which was great. They got another kill too. I actually don't know which one he assisted in, but probably one of the kills in mid.
Tiny only 1,000 away from Ag Syndra. This is going to be decent timing overall.
Yeah, so this is probably going to be one of those games where both teams are just going to farm out of control. Tinker still has the lead. Tiny will be catching up because he can farm incredibly fast with Overcharge from IO together with that Axe. But you also have a Wraith King on the other team, who is getting great farm too. I mean, look at the net worth. Wraith King is actually on top, which is surprising to me. I thought Tinker would still be on top, but it's the 3 kills that Jigglebilly has right now.
Tiny's the top.
He just got past him. They're like alternating all the time.
I thought Tinker was pretty decently ahead.
It's the Midas factor.
Oh, that's true. I forgot he had Midas. Damn. And he has... Okay, forget about the 1,000 gold. I guess he had something in his inventory that I didn't see. So Ag is complete. The stacks commence, although I guess there aren't that many stacks. A lot of mud columns, though. I guess Tiny doesn't really care about that. And expect the relocates to come into effect. And keep in mind, we wanted to talk about the power of... Okay, is this recall? Okay, good. So... One thing with Wisp is a lot of times you put yourself in terrible positions to save a teammate or something like that, and then you have to TP back, right?
Yeah.
And you end up getting killed. But the beautiful thing, if you can time it correctly with recall, you save EO's life every single time.
Yep.
And
it's actually pretty easy to do.
Well, you say that, but I feel like DK is the one team that is always on top of it. Like Fnatic is a 50-50 chance. So I feel like on a competitive scene, that's maybe not the case all the time. So we'll see how coordinated they are overall.
Yeah. It's not too hard to pull off, but it takes some coordination, of course, and you need to remember what level recall is, because the teleport delay is dependent on that.
That's true.
But IO has the counter over his head, so he can just count down, basically.
Beautiful impale. They're going to continue to pursue. Perhaps. Nope, they're going to back up. And that's another beautiful use of the Spike Carapace. Wisp, goodbye, man. Good freaking bye. Tiny on the run. You talked about the usage of spiked Carapace. It's actually going to have some action on Pandago. Looks like it's going to end up being a trade. 2 supports. Of course, the Treant is probably less desirable considering that Wisp is, for all intents and purposes, playing the 4 role.
But the good thing about killing the Treant is that they might get this tower because living armor's on cooldown, and they will actually do that. So, kind of a big deal. Nice stun here. Oh, and there's the RP. He is very, very dead.
Kix is
here.
done.
Oh, the cask, though, could be really huge here.
Oh, what level is that Maledict? What level are you, Maledict? It's level 3. Is that enough to actually kill him? My camera is going crazy.
No, it's definitely not with IO coming in like this.
Okay, not even close. Don't know why I'm getting so excited. Top lane, though, we have initiation again. Blink, Wraith Fire Blast, and despite having a decent lead time mech, the last hit's going to finish him off. Now, again, I wanted to stress the thing that you brought up. Spike Carapace, prevents combinations, and one of which is Tiny. Avalanche toss.
Yep.
You can't get that double damage avalanche.
Nyx is really, really good in this game for many reasons, actually. I think it was a very nice pick. And they even picked it second, so CNB knew they were picking into that, but Nyx has been a really useful.
Well, I mean, it makes sense that, I mean, they didn't ban Tiny, and Tiny is probably the most popular choice to go along with it, yeah. So they had to have had a plan, and this is it.
So, I want to, let's see, this tower falls as well. So this is one of the really big strengths of Tiny IO, of course, is their ability to bring down towers and push lanes and just get heavy farm. I'm thinking right now, if you're eHug, this Tiny is #1 priority to deal with. So you have a Wraith King who built a Blink Dagger first. If he does not get a damage item now, actually, I think the Blade Mill will be a mistake. They need single target damage to kill the Tiny. It's all great that they can AoE down with the Tinker. With the Death Ward, obviously some single target damage, but he's level 7, and he's not even close to something that even looks like an axe.
He goes Armlet.
Yeah, that's I think that's an okay choice for this stage, 18 minutes in. So this Tiny is going to be really difficult to kill without single target damage. Tinker does not have a Dagon yet. He's going for a Scythe by the looks of it with the Ultimate Orb. I'm worried for eHug that when this Tiny gets his next item, and if IO stays out of trouble, they can't bring him down.
What is his next item? Does he go Yasha? Does he go...
I think just flat out Kiros now would be good.
That's not the most common. I feel like it's amazing on him, but I feel like people don't get that until a little bit later, typically. But I guess if you have a Wisp on your team with Overcharge, you don't have to worry
arguably
about
BKB is actually sick here. When you have the IO giving you the attack speed anyway.
Yeah, then you don't even
in
have to worry
BKB
about
he's
spike
immortal.
carapace.
There's nothing going to stop him.
Well, there is the Death Ward Syndrome. Can't underestimate that bad boy.
When he starts getting a couple of points in Craggy Exterior, that extra 5 armor he's going to have from the level 4 is it's going to be really important for him.
It's 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yeah. Craggy actually one of the abilities that got buffed recently, so the stun duration scales better and is actually better on the highest level.
It starts off worse, I believe, and then it gets better over time.
Yeah, you're right. It's a little bit worse in the beginning, I think, but
marginally.
It gets a lot better late game. At 1.75 seconds is actually shouldn't be underestimated. And in this game where there is a Tinker and a Wraith King, both of which are not building BKB right now, Craggy Exterior could be playing a pretty big role.
Tiny EO. Want to see some relocates. Haven't seen.
And he's getting BKB.
Time. He is going BKB? Yeah. Okay. So he's just an Ogre Club away. Perhaps he's just waiting for that, then they'll start ganking left and right, I guess.
Yeah, I think they could also go Roshan.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's always the dire advantage. We have a TP here from Justin. What is he working on now? So he has an Ultimate Orb. Sheepstick, I would assume, is arguably the best thing you could ever get. Well, I guess Blink technically might be better because just to be able to get in good position. But Sheepstick, there's no other hero that utilizes Sheepstick better than Tinker. And I guess now that I say that, you can say that about any active ability. Like Dagon, whatever, Shiva's. You remember the... I don't know if
he's also amazing with Abyssal Blade. You can just refresh in a bit.
Sounds... Yeah, that's not... If it was ranged, maybe.
But
do you remember the days where you could get Manta on him and stack the illusions? They
yeah,
wouldn't, like, refresh.
That's kind of broken.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
I actually don't know if you... That's a really long time ago you could stack that, but... a build I want to talk about for this game, actually, is something that Fear said is absolutely insane on Tinker, and I trust his work as he plays it a lot, and it makes a lot of sense. Oh, wait a second, we're going to have a fight break out. Ned's in trouble.
Wraith Fire Blast. Oh my god, look at that crit! Wisp blows up completely. Question is eHug going to actually continue to pursue the nice Blinding Light, going to prevent the damage from Wraith King?
Your play-by-play is second to none.
I completely agree. Not able to... Okay, Spike Carapace was on cooldown, so Keeper of the Light will not be feeling his own Illuminate. And things are going to break up here. Surprised that they didn't get more than that, to be perfectly honest. They had pretty good positioning, and looks like Wraith King is working on, in all likelihood, an Assault Cure, so Shiva's would be really weird with that plate mail.
Yeah, he's probably So, the build I wanted to talk about with Tinker is going into a Mjolnir, because you can cast it on all 5 teammates with rearm.
Oh, that is so sick.
It's really, really sick in late game. You need a very big mana pool, so you want to get the Scythe first and maybe even a secondary item, but then Mjolnir Tinker in mid-late game is absurd. If the enemy team does not have BKBs, they can't really fight into you when there's 5 Mjolnirs running. So
you just need BKBs, I guess. That's the only thing you can do about it.
Yeah, pretty much. BKBs or sick lifesteal like Satanic.
I mean, do you think that's reasonable, though? Do you think that's feasible to do?
To get it, or that it's too broken to even be... Shouldn't be working.
I think you're right that would work, but is it feasible to go for that on Tinker?
I would say so.
It's a little bit risky. You're not getting many stats from it. The active is so good, though. Although it was nerfed in the last patch. Of course.
Again, it's kind of a case. It's like a it's situational. Sometimes you want the Dagon if you feel like you have to do the damage dealing role, but if you're playing a lineup where you want to sustainably just push and prevent the enemy from fighting into you, just consider how hard it is to fight into like 3 or 4 Mjolnirs plus a March.
Right.
Like,
well, with the heroes that they have on the team,
absolutely
Nyx
insane.
Assassin, Wraith King, and Treant, in all likelihood, are going to be up close and personal. So I hate to do it, but I kind of agree with you, Synderen. That would be pretty... On paper, that is amazing.
This is the best day of my life.
A nice denial of the boots of travel from the Tinker. He's going to have to use that rearm. Oh, no. And the question is, when is Roshan going to be taken out? He's just begging to get plucked.
I am really surprised
CNB's like
CNB hasn't
baiting
done
it.
that before.
I think they're just baiting this right now.
Yep.
I mean, we haven't seen many relocates. How many have we seen? 1, 2? Maybe, I think 2, maximum.
Yeah. It's... I feel like CNB are not taking enough initiative, and they're letting eHug control the map too much. Even though it's kind of crazy, it's 500 gold lead for eHug. So maybe I'm overestimating how it's going for eHug right now. And with Roshan going the way of CNB, we're basically dead even in this game.
XP advantage going eHug.
Might. Yeah, they're just gonna back out here a bit and let Jiggle Billy walk in and check it out. Nope, he is not being killed right now.
Yeah, but they see that he's damaged, so.
Yep.
Okay, apparently Tinker just blew up the Coddle, who has a point booster, by the way, so definitely going for Aghanim Scepter. You'd be happy to know.
Oh, here we go.
Like, oh, he's canceled his animation on the attack. He had the crit going. Wisp is very low. Looks like he's going to get out for now, at least. Avalanche is going to completely whiff, and a tether will secure the safety of the Wisp. But here comes more initiation. This time the little
Craggy proc.
Oh my god, the huge RP. That's 3-4 vacuum. I don't freaking believe it. Is this enough for CNB to take this fight? Everybody is so low for eHug. Wraith King's ult gets activated. Tinker extremely low, going to TP out to safety. Wraith King is fine.
That's Craggy of the day, right there.
I actually didn't see it. I just repeated what
so
he
good.
said as if I saw it. But
so what happened?
That Craggy exterior.
So what happened was that Tinker went in and hexed the Tiny, and Jiggle Billy wanted to combo it with his Hellfire Blast afterwards. But he took the 2-second Craggy stun, and then he didn't have time to stun the Tiny before he got BKB off. It's absolutely huge in that fight. If Craggy didn't proc there, I think the CNB would have lost 3 or 4 heroes, but they get a 2-for-2 trade because he got it off, so obviously absolutely crucial. I'm still a little surprised how Coddle got caught out there. I didn't even see that, how Tinker got in and got that opportunity.
Yeah, I'm
but,
not sure.
Well, looks like he's going for a Dagon now on Justin, unless this is a Force Staff, which arguably is also really good in this game. Force people out to get caught by RP. Gap Creator against Tiny. Could be a good choice, but I think we're looking at a Dagon here to burst down, because there are a lot of targets that he can combo easily himself. He can pretty much solo anyone else in Tiny.
He wants your catchphrase to come back
into
the fray. Absolutely. Is this a smoke? Yes, indeed. So we got 4 smoke for eHug. They're going to try to find a kill. Of course, they have all the initiation they need with not even the Blink Tinker, but the Blink Wraith King. Really, really good initiation. But then again, once you initiate and it's not on like a Magnus or something like that, you're going to get RP'd. And that's exactly what we saw in combination with the vacuum. So the team fight is probably in CNB's favor. But if eHug can find them 1 by 1, Coddle was a good pick-off, but even 4v5, they struggled in that fight. So transitioning to this top lane, they're not going to find anybody. Maybe the Darkseer might actually run into this Surge. He's really, really wanting to get seen, apparently, with this Surge. Oh. Okay, there's the Blink Wraith Fire Blast to follow. My goodness, he's doing a lot of damage. Almost solos him down, but a nicely timed mech in the last moments. And Jiggle Billy's going to have to just use his Midas. That's all you got to do.
God damn it, I have to use my Midas. That sucks. But yeah, kill, not successful. Tower kill was successful. So, okay. Oh, actually in mid, is Justin going for this? This is really deep. He's not going to get that kill.
If they knew they were doing Roshan, I think they would have committed more. In fact, there's the Blink into the trees for pretty much no reason. Is he going to go down to the dot damage? The dot damage, I know he liked me saying that. Looks like he will fall. Maledict, is there a cast? No, he's going to use a Death Ward, but the TP out from Wisp. Maledict is not going to be enough
BKB
to save
is
him.
used by Tiny, though, so this might be a fight for eHug when they come back.
But
And they're going to get
Roche
before they even come back. Oh, this is such a big play.
Jiggle Billy himself will take it. Wisp and Tiny are back, but not sure they can do anything about this. They know that.
It's a really good steal.
Roshan
And here we go. Brazil is in trouble.
Oh my god, Brazil.
Oh, he pinged it to the Impale.
The tiny toss from the Witch Doctor. What? 3 dead. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That was 2 CNB on the run. Again, Maledict on 2. The Maledicts have been on point. It is level 4 Maledict, but unfortunately not a whole lot of damage was done after the fact. Wraith King. Jiggle Billy doesn't have his blink up, and it looks as if that is going to end this engagement, which will probably transition
Man.
into some sort of a push.
That could have gone so differently if Mag didn't blink into that Impale. He actually has a BKB, so that was just greedy. He should have precast the BKB, then blink into RP.
Wow.
He blinked in as Nyx was casting the stun on the Darkseer, so instead of getting a 3 or 4 man RP, he got himself killed. So I guess in terms of that, it kind of evens out considering what happened with the Craggy earlier. This was also just, you know, kind of a play of luck. Nyx wasn't planning for that at all, but Magnus should have played that one safe. Use your BKB before you go in like that. It's not worth the risk.
Absolutely. Keeper Light still working on his Aghanim Scepter, about halfway there. Another 1,800, 1,700 to go. I do keep calling this Illusory Orb. I don't know why. Illuminate. Illuminate. He illuminates my mind. Top lane.
Called Wave of Horse. Wave of Horse is good.
Actually, that is pretty damn good, not going to lie. Tiny going to get the last hit on the tower. Justin trying to defend it, but not a whole lot he can do. They only have... I'm sorry, they actually do have all the tier 1 towers. That's a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
I guess they shouldn't be considering they have Tiny, but I haven't seen him push a whole lot, which is why I question.
Even though we're closing in on what is about 12,000 experience and 7,000 gold, I wouldn't call this game eHugs by any stretch yet. IO Tiny is always so deadly in late game, and one misstep from eHug could really throw them off completely, so...
Blink Dagger on Witch Doctor. Doesn't have it in his inventory as of
That
yet.
is a weird pickup here, I think.
Cakes is going to run directly into the EO Tiny combination. The stun, beautiful Impale. They're going to blow up Wisp before he can TP anybody back, and now Tiny's resigned to just die despite having the BKB. Not going to block the Death Ward damage, good sir. Meanwhile, Coddle getting jumped on by Tinker, and that is so much damage. Good God. This Tinker's getting
And Jigglebilly is... He's looking for more.
Jigglebilly always.
I think for Jigglebilly the fights just don't end until he's dead. Like,
that's
like,
that's my kind of player right there.
Come at me. Oh, he might actually pay off. He's finding the mag.
Oh, let's see.
He's gonna see him from uphill. Okay, that was really awkward.
Not gonna connect. He's stuck in the forest, and we'll skewer out to safety. I keep calling it whatever. Trees, forest, same thing.
That might be the highest MPS we've seen today, right there.
The what?
Highest MPS.
MPS?
Yeah, misplay per second.
Bad
blink. He blinked into the... bad blink from Jigglebilly that exposed that he was there so Magnus could react. Then he blinks into the trees, gets stuck. Then he skewers out of the trees.
And then 1 second or so.
And then Nyx's blink that comes in was way too late and had no chance of doing anything, so he just ran away. That was kind of funny. But, yeah. The moment the Wraith King doesn't get the stun off, that doesn't happen.
BKB seems to be the choice item. Except for Witch Doctor. Not going Ags, not going BKB, but just goes Blink. And why not? All the initiation in the world that they'll ever need. Chase ability off the charts. Do you think that's a little overkill? Do you think a BKB on Witch Doctor or even an Ags would have been a better choice? I mean, he's still pretty damn squishy despite having decent levels for support.
I don't understand why, or Blink Dagger is generally just a really, really good item in most cases. But I feel like in this particular game, when you have a Blink Dagger Hex Tinker and a Blink Dagger Wraith King, you don't need a Blink on the Witch Doctor too. They're going to set you up. You don't have to set them up. So I understand where he's coming from, and I wouldn't say it's an awful choice, but I feel like there are better games. There's also a Blink on Nyx, by the way. So like they have so many good initiators that Witch Doctor doesn't.
Treant is the only one out of the picture here. He needs to join the party.
Get a Blink, Treant.
Blink on him arguably is the best. Well, okay, aside from Tinker, probably the best on Treant. Second, I do believe. But he, like we talked about, his farm's just not there. His levels have picked up a bit, but he is second. Wisp is bottom of the charts now. What has happened this game? Coddle not too far behind, I suppose, but he's doubled Wisp farm at the end of the day.
While still being level 8. It's kind of...
To the Coddle?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how does he double Wisp farm and only he's level 8? That's
he must
crazy.
be farming from max range, so he's out of XP range for the Illuminates, but gets the farm.
That's not...
Something you need to pay a little attention to. It's not only about getting the CS, but make sure you get the XP too. Because Keeper of the Lie is actually a hero who benefits a lot from levels, even though often you just see players who are like, oh, I'm happy, I've got my level 4 Chakra, I've got my level 4 Illuminate, but getting higher levels on the ultimate for the late game is really great, and Mana Leak is underrated. It's really good against a hero like Tinker who wants to be a little bit mobile, and if you catch him out of mana, you just mess him up. Same with Wraith King, draining his mana so he can't ultimate. It's, I think Mana Leak would actually be a very nice ability in this game.
Yeah, that's a really... we haven't even seen that one time.
Because he hasn't skilled it.
Oh, that's what you were saying. See, I don't listen to you. That is so weird. That is so weird.
No, I mean, he's level 8.
One level is fine. Like, one level is a value point at the very least.
It's kind of meh at level 1 because of the cast range.
It's better than nothing, especially on a Wraith King who doesn't
he got it now.
Intel.
Good job. You got it now.
Listening.
Pick it up.
There's no delay on this stream, apparently. Dagon level, is that 4?
It's level 5.
5. Okay, so full. I feel like if it's a level 5 Dagon, they should change the icon to make it look even more impressive than that.
Justin's gonna hex the Tiny.
Just trying to scare him off, but Tiny's like, hey, I got a tree. I got a fucking tree, bro.
He's gonna get hexed again. Magnus! Oh,
Did
boy.
he whip the RP? The March of the Machines. Oh, my goodness. They're going to continue to chase. Poor Trant, the only guy without a Blink Dagger, can't catch up for the overgrowth. And as a result, CNB looks like they're going to get out of dodge. But misplays all over the place. God, he really needs a Blink Dagger. That would have been close to a team wipe.
All things considered, I think CNB should be happy with that. Even though they whiffed their RP, that could have gone so much worse. They did lose their tier 2 tower bottom, though, so still advantage eHug in that exchange. They're now 10,000 gold and 15,000 experience ahead.
Oh, does Vendetta work on couriers?
Yes, it does.
Is it a one-shot?
Yes, it is.
And kaboom! Yes! And I don't have a
Congratulations,
so
Rhaegar, Lucius Zaum.
Wait, is this the right courier? No, damn it.
Huh?
Why is the Radiant courier the only one that's bound? Do you have the Dire courier bound? I don't know what's on there.
No, I don't.
Okay, we're going to assume it was empty because it was on the way back to the base. Yeah, I'm just the worst. But a Basher is now on the Radiant. Oh, it's actually been picked up. Is that Wraith King that has it?
Which one you say?
Somebody had a Basher. It had to be Wraith King.
Yeah. Yeah, must be. Yeah, it
Jiggle
is.
Belly.
He got Boots of Travel as well. Wow, that was kind of a... Okay.
He's going all out. He wants to show off to me. He knows I'm watching. He wants to make me proud. The Arizonans stick together, man. That's just how it's done. Don't Danish people stick together, Synderen?
Yeah, all 9 of us.
You all stick together eating Danish. Get it?
Eat it. Yeah, I get it. I actually know what Danish pastry is. You're proud of me, right?
Good, yeah.
Okay.
Almost done with Ags. About 250 away. And with that, that's actually going to set up... If they can keep up with Tiny and Wisp, that'll set up a lot of gank potential for sure. But I feel like the smokes have been underutilized overall for CNB. For both teams overall, I guess, but more so has been used, as I think we just saw one dissipate. No, that's Nature's Guys, as they're trying to set up this gank. But
did we call the Darkseer BKB?
I know he was building it, but no, I didn't see him finish it.
So
10-second. Yeah.
This is getting really interesting now because in super late game, the one counter you can always rely on against Tinker is having BKB if you get it off before Hex, because almost no matter what you item build on Tinker, BKB is the best choice against him. He can't really build physical damage, which is the only thing that goes through the BKB, so when they have all these BKBs, they have one on Mag, one on Darkseer, and one on Tiny. If they pull off their combo, they can really make it work. The way eHug are playing this is very wise. Put Jigglebilly in the front with living armor on. If the Dire want to commit on him, they know he's going to have 2 lives. But I think CNB can't just sit back and let this happen. They're going to get a tier 2 top as the trade-off. Maybe they just continue and try to force eHug to come back, and then when they try to TP back, they could try and stop the TPs with Darkseer, like exactly what he's doing right now. Okay, might not want to run through the march.
No, they're out. Yeah. So they're happy with trading a tier 3 for a tier 2 that buys Tiny a little bit more time, I suppose.
I think that was okay for CNB. I think that's worth it, as long as they don't lose Rax, which even losing Rax when you're playing Tiny, Io, and Coddle late game, you can deal with being a lane down because you have so much just porting potential. And with the Axe on Coddle, let's have a little bit of a look at the Blinding Light. So Blinding Light scales in cooldown and duration. Actually, the duration scale too. Okay, so scales 3, 4, 5 second duration and cooldown 20, 16 to 12. And the recall scales 1 second less for the recall timer. And these are constantly available when you have Axe. He never goes out of spirit form. So, really nice. And then, of course, during the day, you have the 1800 unobstructed vision, and your Illuminate heals 3/4 of the damage it would deal with how much it's channeled. So, a full channeled level 4 Illuminate heals 375. A half channeled heals half of that. Wow, that was really good math, right?
You're so good.
Amazing.
What do I do without you?
I don't know. Talk crap about Jigglebilly.
That's what I would do?
Yeah.
Please. I'm a sheep working on his BKB now, which... I'm not a huge fan of questioning players' item choices, but I'm going to. Really feel like you should have gotten that first. Before Blink.
The BKB?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, the Blink, it just hasn't done a whole lot. I mean, Blinks are amazing, but I feel like that's a luxury on Witch Doctor, especially when 3 of your other heroes already have the Blink. And Jigglebilly's going to be working on Roshan. I hope that if they do get this, he's not the one that picks it up. Tinker is an amazing...
Right, they're scouting it. Oh, at least they're pinging it right now.
Illuminate's going to show.
Blinding Light.
Blinding Light used as well. Put Tinker on the list of one of the best Aegis carriers, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
That might be the one we were thinking of.
Could be. But I still think Weaver is one of the really, really good ones, too. When it came to. Okay, Darkseer BKBs!
BKBs first! And apparently Nyx Assassin getting a kill on Keeper of the Light. They're going to find Darkseer, can
What
they actually pick
is
him? He's just
going
running
on?
through absolutely nothing. A nice vacuum.
Oh,
into
there
the
we
wall.
go!
Here comes Tiny in with Cakes is dead. Justin's about to go down, but the nice overgrowth overall. And along with the Death Ward is on point, but it's not bouncing because it's low level. He doesn't have Agnum Scepter. And Jiggle Billy, you're going to go down, but you have, of course, the reincarnation is going to bring you back. One blink out for CNB. He's just going to work directly on Magnus. Gets tossed into the right click by Tiny. Tiny can only do so much. The Wisp isn't really too close to him. There's the Wraithfire Blast. Can he take him out? Is Relocate already used? It is. He's using this tether to try to keep him alive with the regeneration, but the right clicks continue. The Impale to follow. Dead goes the Tiny. Wisp. And all like, oh, there's the blink. This time from both Witch Doctor and Wraith King. So fuck you, Sun. So you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Witch Doctor with a blink is amazing, apparently. A triple kill for Jiggle, Horse, and Billy. He has an Abyssal Blade, which I didn't even notice. I know he had the Basher, but that is a quick. When did he pick up the Abyssal Blade?
What's a Jiggle Horse?
Jiggle, Horse, and Billy, man. That's my man.
Yeah. It's a shame for CNB that didn't get to kill the Tinker there. That was really close. And actually, the way they set that up, the Darkseer almost died walking through the march the whole way into that fight. He did get a pretty decent vac wall, as a matter of fact, there, which I'm pretty surprised by. I thought he was going to die before even getting anything off. But the way the fight started was Nyx got a free kill, so it was 4 on 5, and then they moved in. And now Tinker with an E-Blade as well.
And every
he can one-shot Coddle with E-Blade Dagon.
Right,
he can
one-shot.
He can one-shot Darkseer. I think that's really huge.
But one thing that we can finally say, every single member of eHug has a Blink Dagger. Good luck getting away, CNB. The overgrowth is huge. If Tiny uses his BKB, that is when you go in with overgrowth, Blink Overgrowth.
Yep.
Because you can, of course, BKB out of it, but...
He also has Manta, though.
Oh,
that's a
nice
really good skewer.
Wraith King has his ultimate. It's going to be used right away to slow everybody, but the question is eHug actually going to help their comrade in arms? The wall is down. The Impale's going to miss because of the BKBs. Holy jeez, Keeper of the Light just got destroyed by the Dagger, but Wraith King will go down again. That's the Aegis. So he has 3 lives overall, and I think he might go down again. And it looks like the right clicks will suffice. In all likelihood, he's going to continue to run away, trying to armlet toggle, but... the E-Blade almost used to save him, but Justin might be in a little bit of trouble as well. Stuck. Oh my god, he just blew the crap out of Darkseer, but will die in the end.
Oh my goodness.
So really the skewer is what made that fight.
Yeah, that was such a big play coming out from King RD. Probably also the most experienced and famous player from the CNB squad, so not surprised to see him making one of the big plays. And with that done, it's 60 seconds on Tinker without buyback. And this means that CNB could potentially even try to push for a lane of racks. I wouldn't be surprised to see them do that. And is Tiny strong enough to go through the backdoor protection? Doesn't look like it. And of course, you were talking about the overgrowth being a good counter to Tiny. He has both Manta and BKB to break it with. So
that is true. I forgot about the Manta.
If he manages to pull that off very well with the Manta, I think that might be one of the reasons he actually bought it.
Well, you usually get Manta. Yeah, you don't
get. Oh my god, this tower is just falling.
The backdoor protection is so dumb sometimes. The fortification doesn't count. Even if
they're going to go high ground, I think. They really should right now.
They want to try to force the Tinker buyback, but as you said, he doesn't have it.
Wraith King buyback?
Wraith King buys back, that might be enough.
That scared them off.
Unfortunately for them, Roshan is not up, not even close. So they'll have to be happy with that exchange. But that's the beauty of RP, right? I mean, the skewer in general for that, but RP, heroes with ridiculously large AoE ultimates, Tidehunter, Enigma Black Hole, and of course Magnus RP, they can turn games around in a flash.
You can't count out this lineup even when they're 20k behind, actually. It is still possible. Of course, it's very unlikely, but this is one of the best comeback lineups you can have. You can still win the late game with this even when you're far behind. And interesting item decision here from Magnus that I actually really like. It looks like he's going for an Orchid. And this is a direct counter to Tinker, who does not want to build a BKB and might have to, or he just, just kills Magnus like this.
I think he's going for Refresher.
Or a Refresher. You're right. It could be a Refresher, but I...
Usually you don't see the Oblivion staff first if you're getting Refresher, though. You usually get Perseverance.
Yeah, I'm a little bit split here, because I don't know if he can realistically expect to get 2 RPs off like that.
Well, so this
whereas
is
the Orchid is very easy to use and locks down Tinker really hard.
Orchid's really good, obviously. A lot of people look at Refresher the wrong way, I feel like. You don't necessarily have to use 2 in one fight. You could just use 1, then refresh, and then wait another 30 seconds for the next fight, or depending on what the situation, right? Even if you have to buy back, it's still worth having the Refresher. That's 2 RPs. Don't necessarily have to use them in succession for it to be worth it, I feel like, at least.
That's true.
And here comes the high ground push from eHug.
Glyph is available. They're going to mana leak while he's standing still.
Well, the blinding light will give him a little bit of a
He
push,
lost 100 mana. Worth.
Uh-oh. Here comes the avalanche. Toss combination, not doing any damage, but there's the sheep on Tiny. He's taking so much damage. The cask, beautiful vacuum into the wall. The right clicks continue, and Tiny, I'm sorry, that was Darkseer, whatever. He's a pig. Can't never tell what hero that is. Will die. Sheep getting a little bit of harassment from the Coddle nuke. And the push continues, but Tiny is still alive, and that's who they have to really worry about.
I think CNB might have actually been able to take that fight if they didn't relocate the Tiny out. He wasn't that low at that point. I can understand he made that play, but they were just so far behind that they couldn't come back. But that vacuum wall actually set them up very nicely, and they didn't get to use it. So it's on cooldown. RP is available. BKB is up for Tiny. They have everything ready, actually. This could be a mistake from eHug, even though it's 4 on 5. They could be losing this fight.
Yeah, the Darkseer wall being down.
Ah, the Hex again!
So much damage applied to this Tiny, but there's the RP. But oh my god, the Dagon's actually used to continue to kill the Tiny, who buys back immediately. RP was wasted, essentially. Tiny's here. This Rax is still in peril, but the nice mana leak, is that going to be enough to actually prevent his ultimate? Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, but here comes the aggression onto Tiny again. A beautiful Ethereal Blade into Dagon. BKB pop for Tiny. But here comes Wraith King. Jigglebilly continuing the Abyssal Blade onto Tiny. He's just not doing as much damage, but there it is again. The Sheep Stick, Ethereal Blade, Dagon combination. Tiny's dead for 95 seconds. Cannot come back. Justin is doing so much damage in this fight. It's crazy. He might actually go down to the Skewer. It looks like that is the case. But Jiggleblade doesn't give a fuck what's going on. He's going to take out this Rax. No problem. Overgrowth was saved the entire time for some reason, but it's going to be worth it as they take out the Magnus. Double kill for Jigglebilly. BKB pop for little to no reason on the Darkseer. They're probably going to clean up this range Rax and then fall back, if not just now. And Jigglebilly still has room for one more item. Not exactly sure what he's going to go for, but they're going to get double Rax. 60 seconds down on Tiny. They can perhaps continue this push. Of course, Tinker did buy back after dying. So, and of course, one of those heroes that is always in the fight, no matter where you are. Jigglebilly has his ultimate, but 1 second. The cooldown is so low at level 3. It's unbelievable.
Man, if they can manage to hold this, that would be an absolute shocker. There's 40 seconds on the Tiny still, with the ult up again on Jigglebilly. Yeah, they're gonna get the good skewer again.
Rinse, repeat. Oh god, I don't even know what to say. Poor Coddle. Oh my god, this Ethereal Blade is ridiculous. Magnus and EO, the only ones to survive this. RP is up in 3 seconds. We're gonna be wasted if he uses it, because there's absolutely no follow-up. 20 seconds on Tiny. That is their saving grace. Not even sure that's going to be enough at this point because Darkseer's dead. Keeper of the Light dead. They're going to continue on this third Rax tower. Half dead. I don't even know if you have to defend this one way or another if you're CNB.
They need to wait 5 seconds on Tiny. Blink RP is available. Darkseer buys back. Man, they need. This is like a Hail Mary right here.
eHug getting a little passive. The BKB used, and there's the relocate, but all for naught. They're not going to find anybody. eHug could just go back in here anytime they want. Reinitiate, knowing that the BKB is down. Ethereal Blade. What? Did he just switch out his Ethereal Blade? What is this? Oh, he's just switching out for fast bottling.
Yeah.
Very smart from Justin. As Cakes, knowing that they don't have vision here, I believe eHug has 3 gems, if I'm not mistaken. And he's in Vendetta mode. Of course, it is a 5v5 now, so they can't be too cocky. But Keeper of the Light does get blown up with essentially one combination.
On mana leak on Cakes. He's going to lose a lot of mana here.
Yeah, that actually might stop his push.
He doesn't care. He's going to lose all his mana.
Yeah, I think that they're going to have to back up. They don't want to take any chances here. Probably a smart move. So 2 complete Rax dead. Roshan is up in 4 minutes, if I'm reading that right. So that is the longest you can get it, is the 11-minute mark. So 3 smokes. And the heart is complete on Jigglebilly. That is his final item. Can he even switch anything out at this point, Thunderin? Is there anything you would drop?
On Jigglebilly?
Yeah, I guess Blink Dagger.
I think the Blink he would exchange for a high damage item. Either that or, yeah, maybe a damage item or even another Hex, even though that might sound a little weird, but that could be a choice. So it just has so much lockdown. But yeah, he's pretty much full inventory now. I would say a damage item instead of the Blink, or the Armlet, of course. I mean, Armlet falls off late game pretty heavily, so maybe an MKB would be nice. Maybe a Rapier if you're balling out of control, or a Refresher Orb if you're really balling out of control.
Well, I feel like, what do you think about a Rapier on Tiny? It looks like he's going for Daedalus though. Is it at that point where you need to?
Daedalus is more cost efficient actually right now. Tiny is one of the few heroes where Rapier does less damage than Daedalus, and it's because his base damage is so incredibly high that okay.
CNB is actually going to try to go for the Roshan here.
Holy shit, that's really...
That's very risky.
Okay, they do have Glyph.
This Rax is in mortal
It's actually a good play. It's the best thing they can do right now. Use the Glyph, get the Aegis, and then maybe take a fight.
Can they even defend, though? I mean, Jigglebilly doesn't even need to live through this. He just dodges the RP,
that's skewered.
right clicks. There comes the Tiny EO combination along with the wall. There's a huge overgrowth on the Tiny who is not... There's the Manta, though, getting him out of there. Pandago's going to get right clicked. And Wraith King, little to no worries for him as he is completely stacked, but really it's Tinker doing all the work. 2 dead right off the bat. All they need is the range Rax. And the question is, do they even bother going for the kills here? Magnus very low. Wraith Fire Blast on, I don't even know what that was. It doesn't matter.
That was
this
really
is going to be
weird.
Mega Creeps. Looked like it was on the Tornado. I have no idea how that's possible. And again, Justin, MVP of this match. As much as I want to say it's Jigglebilly, his Ethereal Blade Dagon has ripped apart CNB. And you're seeing it one last time. Didn't have enough mana for the, for the Dagon. But alas, that is a team wipe, and that is going to be GG. eHug taking the victory over CNB. What a game.
Yeah, and with that, eHug are actually in a position to, yeah, they're maybe one of the favorites for the 4th place now. And I feel like eHug has been stepping up their game a lot. And if we consider the game that they the default loss they had in the beginning of the tournament, where one of their players was 1 minute late for the absolute deadline for the game, which was, of course, really unfortunate. If that's going to be the game that gives them the 5th place instead of the 4th, they're going to be so disappointed about that. But at the same time, if they can rise above that and still get 4th place, even when they lost that game, which was against a team I believe they should have beaten, actually. I think it was, I'm not sure, Isurus or Shadows of the Past or something like that.
It might have been Isurus.
No, Isurus hasn't won a game,
yeah, they haven't
so
won a
it can't be
game.
those.
I don't think it's Shadow of the Past.
I'm uncertain what game that was, but...
Okay, let's get our beautiful mugs on camera, shall we, as we wrap this up. So... CNB goes down, and again, I don't know the standings. I don't know why I should be doing that to you. Anyway.
No.
I'm not sure of the standings overall, which is something you should be checking right now on your computer. TI4Qualifiers.com, for those of you who don't know. All the coverage that we apparently completely ignore. I almost called eHug Jigglebilly, but it might as well. The Jigglebilly team here.
Results.
Okay,
Americas. That's not really useful. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go.
You're so good at interwebs.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can't really find an overview just immediately because I don't know.
Results.
Yeah, I'm there.
Is it?
Americas, but...
What about...
I don't know the current...
Okay, so we don't know how to use their website. Maybe somebody can tell us how to do that.
We have that on the mainstream.
Well, I do know that CNB in all likelihood is not in contention for top 4 after this.
Yeah, I think they're out now.
eHug, it's not guaranteed that they're in top 4, but they're in contention, and there might be some tiebreakers coming up after this. There are a lot of other streams going on. TI4 Qualifiers is a great place to go to find out where to go.
BeyondTheSummit.tv.
BeyondTheSummit.tv. There's a team channel. I don't remember the link, but I think it's on the overlay itself.
That's the one BeyondTheSummit.tv links to.
Oh, okay. So just go there. And you can see all the beautiful streams. The High Ground TV, which is on BTS4. BTS3 is
the
lounge itself. BTS2 is us, and BTS1 is the main stream. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll keep you updated. By keep you updated, I don't mean me, because we're apparently completely useless when it comes to this. But do your own research, man. I don't even care. Whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching. This was a lot of fun, and we'll be seeing you very shortly. What do I click on?
You're the worst.